Looks like this is gonna become like a habit. Hmm. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, first day of February, and we're in leap year, so we're actually getting 29 days instead of 28. But let me just get the chat open on this one. And we'll see how this goes. But yeah. As you're coming in, feel free to say good morning. It's February 1st. Yeah, countdown. I don't know if you guys ever done this, but I know right now people are going to be getting their W-2s back. They're going to be filing people post. So let me see if I'm buffering here. I'm not sure. Let me know if I'm buffering or if it paused there for a second. Looks like it did. Can anyone drop a comment? Let me know if I froze there for a second. There's that clicking from the dang air blower thing. Okay. Yeah, so people filing their tax returns and whatnot. I think it's funny just for the simple fact that yeah, people say some crazy stuff. It's like it never fails. It's always the same thing year after year. Every time that the IRS is open for people to file their tax returns, and people tend to they file their tax returns and then they hit H&R Block's website just so they can complain about how long it takes to get their refund. It's the craziest thing. So like, if you're a bit antsy because you filed your tax return and you're like, I want my money and all this other stuff, right? If you want to pass the time, just go to H&R Block and read some of the stuff that people talk about, man, because people are crazy. They're absolutely crazy when it comes to that. They say some of the craziest things. See, I'm just tweeting this out right now. And then we'll talk about Mint Mobile versus Google Fi versus Visible. We'll talk about that here in a second. But all right, we got that sent out on Twitter. Let's see. Oh, I haven't checked notifications on Twitter, so what's happening in the world of Twitter? Let's find out. Let's see. What the fudge? I've been accused of clickbait titles twice by 2 viewers of my channel. Yet all my videos are about the actual content of the video. What actually is clickbait? Who the heck accused Sneed of clickbait? Well, I this is crazy. So to make it apparent what clickbait is, it's like if I had titled this video, Corey Feldman does a half backflip off a second-story building, and it has like absolutely nothing to do with that, that would be considered clickbait. Or like if I titled the video, I just hit the lottery and won $860 million, and then I'm just doing a mukbang eating a freaking Impossible Whopper. Like that would be clickbait. I don't know why anyone would accuse Sneed of clickbait. Um, well, let's see what else is going on Twitter before I get started. Let's see. Someone put W disrespecting T-Mobile in Miami. No one can compete here. Oh, okay. Oh, this is on Carlos's Twitter live stream. However, anyway, Saturday morning. So tomorrow's Super Bowl Sunday. How many of you guys are excited for it? And who are you going for? If you're on the replay crew, comment below who you're going for tomorrow. And let's get back into YouTube. But okay, Mint Mobile versus Google Fi versus Visible. Okay, I chose these three carriers because they each of them have their individual, I guess you could say, their individual perspective on the mobile market. They do things a little bit differently, and I've had the pleasure of using all three. I'm actually using 2 out of 3 right now. However, I am going to take advantage of the offering tomorrow by creating a new Mint Mobile account during the Super Bowl and getting 3 months free of the 3 GB plan. And yeah, so if you guys didn't know, that is currently going to go down tomorrow. Now, if 3 gigs is not enough for you, maybe use a little bit more than 3 gigs. They're also running a longer promotion, which is you pay $20 for the entire 3 months for the 8 GB plan. So that gives you 5 more gigs than what they're giving free tomorrow. Now it's 8 gigs of LTE. After that, you're slowed down to 2G speeds for the remainder of your month. So if you have home Wi-Fi and stuff like that, that'll work out. But I'll explain that here a little bit more. But yeah, so comment, let me know who in the Super Bowl you're going for. Yeah, tomorrow it's not gonna be lit in my place. It'll just be me and probably my older son watching the Super Bowl, and nobody likes to be around me when I watch the Super Bowl because I end up yelling at the TV. I'm one of those guys who like watches a game and like yells like I'm the coach of the team. Only because, you know, you see it from an outsider's point of view, right? You know, you're not the referee on the field. So when you see a flag on a play and you know that it was a BS call, like you pretty much argue the point. But I mean, they see things differently on the field, and so, but it makes for good fun to yell at the TV. So I kind of do that a bit. Yeah, so we'll see what happens then. But yeah, tomorrow's Super Bowl Sunday, so I know people should be gearing up to buying like their stuff for their Super Bowl party. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really having anyone over, so it's just me. And I'm going to probably polish off an entire sub sandwich, one of those deli ones, with like different types of cold cuts, and then some hot wings. And I don't drink beer, so yeah, I can't. I'm diabetic. That kind of sucks. All right, let's log it off. If people are going to join in, they're going to join in later or watch the replay. But try to make it a habit every Saturday morning to live stream. And everyone's asleep, so I go out to the car to do this. But anyways, all right, so Mint Mobile, Google Fi, and Visible, right? Each of them has their own different thing. Let's kind of start off with Mint Mobile. When they first hit the market, they were known as Mint Sim. And their entire goal was to sell mobile phone service plans in bulk, right? So that's like their their main concept. You can buy in 3 months, 6 months, or even an entire year. And that's kind of a good thing because you're paying in bulk, so you're buying basically like wholesale, and you're saving money compared to what you would if you would pay just like every month with Mint Mobile. I know that when Mint Mobile hit the market as Mint Sim and people were taking a lot of interest in it, companies like Freedom Pop, which is another MVNO that piggybacked off of Sprint, and then later on both Sprint and AT&T, they came out with their other prepaid sister company called Unreal Mobile, and Unreal Mobile was going to be a month-to-month plan where Freedom Pop was going to try to convert themselves into one that you would pay for a month, like, you know, a bulk couple of months to compete against Mint Sim at the time. However, Freedom Pop didn't actually do that. It kind of went down. But yeah, so Mint Sim uses T-Mobile's network, right? So they piggyback off of T-Mobile. Bulk is their main bread and butter. That's what they sell in, and yeah, that's what makes them different from most other MVNOs and prepaid companies out there. You have Google Fi, which is next up here, formerly known as Project Fi, and Google Fi, it's prepaid with a postpaid look, I guess you can say, and they deal more with sorry, my eyes itchy. They deal more with, how do you put it, like they're googly quirky type plans, which we'll get into here in a little bit, and international, right? Their current deals with other countries, international, and all that good stuff. Google Fi pretty much kind of like, that's like their main thing. That's what they're known for. And then you got Visible, or Visible Wireless. I call it Visible because on their branding it just says Visible. I don't know, but most people call it Visible Wireless or Visible Mobile. This one deals in a very different approach to the consumer base, as they don't have physical stores. They are a cloud-based service provider, and with their services, you only get LTE. There is no drop to 2G, and we'll kind of explain that here in a little while too as well, why that is. But you know, they're a pretty solid company. They piggyback off they're owned by Verizon, so they piggyback off Verizon's network. And yeah, so 3 different MVNOs. Which one should you look at? You know, that's one of the biggest things here. But let's start off with Mint Mobile. So with Mint Mobile, again, like I said, you know, kind of with a brief description of them. With Mint Mobile, basically you're buying in bulk, okay? Oh my gosh. The dump truck is here. Oh boy. It's gonna get loud. I do apologize. I did not know that they were going to come today. So you might hear like some beeping and a lot of banging noises or whatever. Sorry about that. Oh man, it sucks. Anyways, so what kind of consumer would be perfect for Mint Mobile? You know, that consumer would be one who doesn't want to have a monthly bill and doesn't use a lot of data, and has home Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi at work and Wi-Fi just about everywhere else they go. Because they have three plans in their bulk tier. Obviously 3 gigs being the small one, 8 gigs being the mid-level, and then 12 gigs being their highest amount, right? So they don't offer a fully unlimited plan at all whatsoever. Whether you decide to go monthly, they don't offer an unlimited data plan. Everything is pretty much at a set rate, set amount in the data pool. But you're buying in bulk here, which is where where it really starts to kind of like show. As you imagine this, right? If you say, especially like this time of the year, I always position this time of the year because this is the smarter way. Hang on, trying to adjust the seat here. Where's that lever at? I hate these type seats because they're like, oh well. All right, I'm not getting sidetracked here because all this noise. Um, but I always position that this is the time of the year, you know, when you do your tax returns, where you should be considering Mint Mobile. If you're someone who doesn't use a lot of data, you know, say like you actually check your data usage, and I mean check what you actually use LTE. Like everyone goes to look at like how much data they consume, and they go off the main number, and the main number is a mixture of what you use when you're connected to Wi-Fi and when you're connected to your cellular network. You gotta look at what you use technically on the LTE cellular data side and not count everything that you've used on Wi-Fi. And with that, basically, it'll show you what you use. And some people will be surprised. Like, they'll see, like, on the total they've used on their phone, they'll say, like, oh, yeah, you know, I've used, like, 115 gigabytes in 1 month. But then when you actually separate what you've, you know, what data traffic you've done over Wi-Fi versus what you have done over LTE, they get surprised when they see, like, oh, I've only used 7 gigs of LTE data, you know? And that's just because everywhere they go, they're connected to Wi-Fi. Like, people always say like they want unlimited, but I've noticed that a lot of people chase Wi-Fi. Everywhere they go, and that's like the question that pops up. Do you guys have free Wi-Fi? And so if you're that type of consumer, and you see like you only use like 7 or 8 gigs, right? Then like the 12 gig plan would be the one that's for you, because obviously it gives you a little bit more leeway in case you use a little bit more on LTE. You have that leeway to go through. But I always stress this time, I keep going back to the statement, I always stress this time as a time to sign up for Mint Mobile if you're someone that doesn't use a lot of data as far as being off Wi-Fi, is because, you know, it's tax season, right? So if it's tax season and you, you know, you get the yearly bulk plan, so you go with the 12 gigabyte, 12-month plan, you're literally going to go an entire year without a cell phone bill at all whatsoever. Like, that's like one less bill you have to worry about because you've paid for an entire year. That right there, all alone, and all, oh, the dump truck's leaving. Whew. Maybe the garbage is not full, so no banging noises. Yay! But yeah, you don't have to worry about a phone bill for an entire year. You know, you can focus your finances everywhere else, you know. And this works great for, you know, the working class Americans out there, okay? So, like, you know, people who are living paycheck to paycheck. Yo, Sneed, what's up, man? Yeah, Saturday morning stream. By the way, bro, let me just say this. I said this in the beginning of the stream. Yeah, I don't know what those people are talking about. Your videos are not clickbait. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I don't know if someone already explained what clickbait is, but basically it's just like a fudge title to get people to watch your videos. So like, if I said on this live stream that, you know, basically, like, instead of talking about Mint Mobile, say like, you know, I title my live stream, I won the jackpot, I won $868 million, and you come on a live stream and I'm talking about Mint Mobile, right? Like, that's clickbait. I don't know why people would say that. They don't. But then again, there's people that's weird like half the time. All my titles and topics are legit. Yeah, people just reach for the attention, I think. Yeah, and then you know what? People also don't really read the titles all that well, right? It's like the little video that I did where I was testing out 5GE from the AT&T line that Carlos let me use. So I say it in the title, right? You know, speed test, AT&T 5GE. Like, anyone can go back to that video and look, and it says it on the title, right? And the person, I guess, wanted to, you know, make me look stupid or whatever. They decided they would leave me a comment, and then they would tell me that it's not true 5GE, and then they told me to look at the logo on the screen, and there's a little E next to it. And so I commented the person back and said, well, obviously it's in the title. It's in the title too, but obviously you didn't read the title. You thought you had me by, you know, by the tail, so you were gonna rush in there and give a comment just so you can make me look stupid and make yourself look smarter. But yeah, people are weird, man. I don't know. So what did I do wrong? Nothing. It's just the person didn't read the title of the video correctly. Or they, like I said, like there are people who are like that. There are people who just want to go in other people's videos and try to make themselves look like they're smart and they know what they're talking about, and so they'll say whatever they want to say. And sometimes they go in too fast without actually really analyzing if the YouTuber or the content creator actually made a mistake. And that happens a lot, you know. There's just people that just like they want to pump their chest out and be all dun dun on and everything, and it's just like, dude, check yourself real fast. So, yeah. By the way, who are you going for tomorrow? Just out of curiosity, because there's only two options, Chiefs or 49ers, and so I'm just trying to get people's thoughts on that. But anyways, yeah, back to Mint Mobile. So yeah, like I would say, like I always emphasize this time of the year is the best time to actually sign up for Mint Mobile, especially if you're gonna go with the yearly plan. Just because, you know, you pay for that 12-month bulk plan and you're good for the whole year without a bill. You're riding with Chiefs? Oh man. Yeah, I'm going 49ers. So this will be interesting. But yeah, that would be the perfect time to sign up for Mint Mobile. I mean, yes, there's not an unlimited package total, right? And like I said, like, you know, Mint Mobile would be perfect for those who just barely use any LTE and they're mostly on Wi-Fi. So if you could, you know, get that at a wholesale discounted rate with Mint Mobile, and then if you opted for the 12-month plan, you would go an entire year without having a phone bill, which actually works out great because that's one less bill you have to worry about every month. Especially, you know, those people who are way out into their adulthood who have mortgage payments, you know, electric bill, sewage and water if you have to pay for that. If your, you know, house or apartment is gas rather than electric, then you have to pay for gas to use a gas range stove, and, you know, water heaters run off that. So I mean, like with all these bills that, you know, we succumb to every month, it's always great to have one less bill, right? Because then it gives you a little bit extra money to do more things, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck like I am. Then it helps. So Mint Mobile kind of like helps in that situation, right? So not a heavy data user, and you can buy in bulk. That's the good thing about it, right? Caveat to it is that if you're someone who uses a lot of data, you don't have home Wi-Fi, you rely on LTE, you rely on hotspot for everything, then this is not going to work out for you, because 3, 8, and 12, that's all they have, and every month it resets. So now I'm kind of shifting over to Google Fi. Google Fi, Project Fi, they have the googliness in them. You can obviously see that through the plans that they've had in the past to what it's evolved and become now. Back in the past, it was $20 for unlimited talk and text, and then $10 per gig. So however much you used, that's what they would bill you for. They used to do it where, you know, you would try to predict how much data you would use in a month. So say if you use like 5 gigs, they would charge you $50 plus the $20 for unlimited talk and text. So your bill would be $70. But if in that month, if you only used like 4, they would give you a credit back for $10. So then your next bill, rather than being 70, would be 60. And if you use less in that month also, then the following month, whatever you didn't use would be given back to you in credit. So they always did that, and they always billed in arrears. So you never, like, even though people say it's prepaid, I don't really count Google Fi anymore as prepaid. I just think they're one of the more lenient postpaid, you know, type carriers, because yes, they do piggyback off of Sprint, T-Mobile, and US Cellular, but nothing of theirs is ever prepaid. You don't pay up front for anything with Google Fi. You're billed after you use it. Later on, they kind of changed things over, and because people wanted unlimited, and so they figured, well, what if we did something where, like, we gave them a certain point that we would charge them for data, but then after that, data would be free. And then so they came out with bill protection, which literally combined the $20 Fi Basics with up to 6 gigs they can charge you for, so that's $60. After that, they didn't charge you per gig rate after that until you passed the throttle point, which was 15 gigabytes. After that, you'd have to pay $10 for every high-speed LTE gig that you used afterwards if you wanted to, or stay throttled until your bill started over again. That didn't really work out all too well. I mean, it did, and you know, because you can control how much data you use, and if you didn't use a lot of data, you can relatively have a small bill. But then, you know, they kind of understood that people just wanted unlimited, so they kind of gave that. They gave unlimited, you know, people trip out because it's $70, and then you have to add taxes and fees on top of that, so it's pretty pricey. People are like, well, I can go here and get unlimited for $50, and that's absolutely true. You can go to Boost Mobile or Metro and get fully unlimited and pay only $50 a month. You know, it sounds weird. Maybe people will probably argue the point with me and say, well, that's not the right way to look at it. But I do kind of look at it as in, like, you get what you pay for. And with Google Fi, it's not just limited down to one network, right? So like I go to Boost Mobile and get an unlimited plan for $50, and I'm only totally reliant on Sprint. If I go to Metro, I can get an unlimited plan for $50 or $55, but I'm totally reliant on T-Mobile's network. On Google Fi, I'm paying $70 for unlimited, but I'm reliant on 3 different networks where I go. So that's one thing that's one way how I look at Google Fi, why they charge $70 for unlimited. The other reason is that it includes international. I know everybody doesn't travel internationally, but it's always great to have a plan that you can call places and either pay no minute rate or a very small minute rate just to talk to people in another country, which I do have relatives that's in the Philippines and Thailand, South Korea, so I do want to talk to them, and Google Fi lets me do that. Some of the countries that I call, I don't get charged a minute rate at all, so it's like as if I'm calling domestically in the US. If I was to go see them, my phone would work without me having to rely on another international carrier, right? I wouldn't have to go run off to the nearest provider they have in that country and buy a SIM card, because like I don't know if people know this, but like some countries you actually buy like SIM cards like you buy like Amazon tablets. In Thailand, they have these SIM cards are already preloaded with the plan and data amount and things like that, and you buy them. They come in like the same type of SIM cases you'd find at Best Buy, and you just pop that SIM into your phone and you register an account. So every time that you do need like data or whatever, you buy another SIM card, or some of them are just like the ones here in the US where you just add money to it. But I always thought it was weird, like, so when you're done with this SIM card, what do you do with it? And like I used to like tell my mom, like, doesn't that create waste? You once you're done with that SIM card, you take it out and you go and buy another one and put it in. Like, that's just totally weird concept that some countries have. But Google Fi allows me to use the phone without having to go that route and find a domestic carrier in that country and use their services and have a whole different number assigned, and then have to go through all these hoops and hurdles just to make a phone call back to the US to check on family here. It's just much easier to get off the plane and see your phone say, hey, welcome to Thailand, and then the LTE signal's on, and if I make a phone call to my kids back home, it's my phone number that's calling, so they'll see it and they'll answer it. They won't have to be like guessing what international area code and country code is this. So Google Fi pretty much covers that void, more of like international and very similar to postpaid, because for what I use, like my bill cycle is the I want to say it's the 24th to the 23rd of the next month. And then once the 23rd comes, then my bill generates, I see what I'm going to pay, and then my bill's due the following month on the 3rd. So not prepaid in that sense, kind of like has you feel like you're on postpaid. That's why I say, like, I don't really count Google Fi as prepaid, because you're not paying up front and then using services. You're using services and then you're paying afterwards. You're building arrears. And so it gives you that vibe that you're on postpaid, even though it's not true postpaid. And the other thing is that you can use hotspot however as you want it. It counts against data that you use, so you can connect your other IoTs to your device and run your Google Fi signal to provide internet for your tablets and laptops and things and whatnot. And if you have like a tablet or an iPad that is LTE compatible, you actually can get data only SIM cards that don't cost you an additional charge and doesn't, you're not opening up an additional line. It's a data only SIM card that every data that's used off that SIM registers as data used from your smartphone from Google Fi. So you pop that in an iPad or a tablet that uses a SIM card, and you got LTE data connectivity. The only differences with that is that with the data only SIM cards, they only utilize T-Mobile's networks. They don't smart switch. So you can have an iPad with a Google Fi data only SIM in it, it's not going to connect to Sprint's network at all. Only Google Fi capable devices can do that, and that is a hardware thing. Um, I know Lawrence was saying, like, how cool would it be if iPhones were able to smart switch like Pixels on Google Fi, but this is more of a hardware thing that allows the Pixels to be able to do that, as where, like, some iPhones can't. Like, some iPhones are not CDMA compatible at all. I learned this just from talking to people who's been owning iPhones for years, and so yes, well, iPhones, like, if you get it unlocked from, like, say I got a T-Mobile iPhone 7, I get it unlocked, I can use Visible on it, which is using Verizon's LTE network, or I could use AT&T. One thing I did look up in search is that I wouldn't ever be able to put a Sprint SIM card into it and for it to actually, like, work, work pretty good, because it won't have a lot of the bands that Sprint uses. So that's what I recently learned. But anyhow, yeah. So data only SIM cards from Google Fi, also top with unlimited hotspot, basically based on your data that you use. So there's not a set amount of hotspot. Yeah, for $70 and then plus tax, I mean, that's actually pretty decent. 120 for 2 lines. That's actually pretty decent, in my opinion. And also, I've said it before, you can always create these quirky family plans with Google Fi. If you have kids and they don't really make phone calls as like using a traditional phone number, or they don't really use like Android messages or whatnot to text, but they use, like, either to have an iPhone, they use iMessage a lot, or if they they use WhatsApp, or what else, or to use Instagram or whatever to message with people, then yeah, you would actually have like six phones active, with only like maybe the mom and dad phone being the actual ones with like full-fledged mobile numbers through Google Fi. The rest of them are all data only SIMs, so that's 4 other lines. Just it helps you find ways to kind of like save on a monthly bill. When you have, because I have 5 kids. I got 5 kids. Oldest is 15, all the way down to my youngest, who is 4 years old, who's going to be 5 this year. So 5 kids, youngest 5, oldest 15. That's kind of, hey, that's crazy. Multiples of 5. Yeah, what's up? Good morning, everyone. That's my brother in the chat right now. I'm like still kind of sleepy, just talking about Mint Mobile, Google Fi, and Visible. But anyways, I'm glad you're joining us in here. I don't know if Sneed left or if he's still in here, but anyhow. So yeah, with Google Fi, you can create this quirky family plan. Like I said, I have 5 kids, so it made it easier. Instead of having like a cell phone bill of close to like $400 or $500, depending on like device equipment and things like that. Good morning, Stacy. You can literally like have like a family plan on Google Fi where only like the parents have the actual full lines. The kids, their unlocked devices just has LTE connection, and they can still do what they want to do: Instagram, Facebook, message people, whatever. So that's that. Visible is a little bit different. Visible is a cloud-based mobile phone service provider, right? So one of the biggest ad campaigns that Visible had was that they don't have physical stores. There's no physical stores. They're not investing in having, a store crew and things like that. So a lot of the money that they would invest in running, stores, paying the electric bill and things like that, they actually invest that back into the company to make Visible a lot better for its customers. One of the hugest things about Visible, and I don't know when they're going to do it, because they said it wasn't forever that they would have it where like all their speeds are unthrottled. Because they used to throttle you, like, I think what was that, let's say like 15 megabits per second was like the download. The upload was like at 7 or 8 megabits per second upload. That used to be like their upload download rate. They changed it after a while when I first got approached by Visible to try out their services, and I did a couple of review videos about it. They actually they released a data cap. So like when I go to downtown Phoenix here, if I was to do a speed test with my device, I can actually pull maybe close to like 200 megabits per second down, and that's actually not bad at all. I mean, literally to watch Netflix on your phone, a decent amount, 15 megabits per second down, that's actually pretty decent. if the download can keep the screen from buffering, that's good, right? So, and I've seen people, who pull like 20 megabits per second down, 15 down, 12 down, and they're able to, stream Netflix just fine. So just, being able to pull down like 200 megabits per second, that's actually pretty decent. That's what like, LTE advanced should be at right about now. Like, between 200 megabits, 300 megabits down. I know 5G like is showing that when you're connected to 5G, especially like on T-Mobile. I think I froze again. I'm not sure. I'm watching, or it could just be this. I have Wi-Fi turned off. Let me turn my Wi-Fi back on this phone. But yeah, I'm reading the chats off this, and it showed that I froze. If I froze, I apologize. Yeah, unless you're using a VPN. Yeah, which most people don't know too much about. What VPNs are. Where was I at? Oh yeah, you can get like 200 megs down with Visible. On a good note, if you're in a good area. But anyways, so Visible just it they opened up, and they don't throttle anymore. To this point, they could data cap it at any time soon. That's what I was told from the PR that works for them. She said that at any time they can recap the services with Visible. So it's like, it just kind of leaves me in that, like, when is that going to happen type thing. And I'm always thinking about that, like, should I worry? Is it going to be capped anytime soon? What's happening with that, So anyways, the other thing about Visible that's actually pretty dope is that it's unlimited hotspot. Now, the hotspot is capped according to them. It's capped at 5 megabits per second down. Now, I've had my hotspot on and connected my laptop to it and ran the speed test, and I was getting like 15 down. But they say it's capped at 5. And that's no additional charge. There's no data pull for a hotspot. You use it as much as you want in a month. The caveats to Visible is that if you actually have issues, like, say you get like a new device, like a new iPhone, or like, maybe you decide to get like a Pixel 3a or something like that, and you put your Visible SIM in and you're not getting text messages and things like that. Like you see, you got LTE connectivity, right? Data's working just fine. You open up Chrome, you load up a website, and it goes. But you try to make a phone call, and it doesn't ring, and then you hear this loud beep, and then it disconnects a call. If you try to send a text, it says waiting for connection. That's an issue I've had before. The crappy thing is that there's no phone number to actually reach out to Visible, and there's no store for you to visit in person to have them, check your phone. So everything is done through a chat, right? You have to log into the Visible app. You have to go to live chat with a rep. You gotta wait. And in the beginning, Visible had like a very bad response time, So like people would post on the chat like, hey, my phone's not activating, I need help. And then they literally would not get a response back till like 48 hours later. Now their response time is a lot better. Like I can go in the Visible app, say that my text messages is not working, and before 2 minutes, I got a live rep on there talking to me. So Visible has gotten better with that, but still, it does worry people, especially people who have had very bad experiences with mobile service providers, for them to, find out there's no actual number to call and talk to somebody over the phone. Because like live chat, yes, people like to text, these days, but like I'm old school. If it's a problem that I have, I would rather have you on the phone, because I can explain things a lot better talking to somebody like I am now than if I was to sit there and take time to have to type. Because like when I explain things that, issues that's going on with my phone, I like to go into detail. So just imagine something that I can say, like my text messages is not working. I would end up sending a paragraph telling them my text messages is not working. This is what I've tried. This is what I've tried. This is what I've done. I've reset it. I factory reset it. I did this. I did that. I did this. I did that. And it turns to be a paragraph. But I can easily get all that out in under 1 minute. You guys hear how fast I talk sometimes. Like, I can't understand you. You're talking too fast. That's just how I am. Oh, man. The live stream keeps pausing. I don't know what it is today. Today it just keeps pausing. I'm so sorry if it is. If you guys missed what I said, or if you didn't hear what I said, basically I was just saying, like, while Visible's live chat sucks, just not that the response time sucks, but I'm a person that can explain things more vocally than I can typing out in a chat. especially on a phone. So that is like one of the major caveats to Visible. Now, the three of those companies, another question that people ask about Mint Mobile, Google Fi, and Visible is, do they have family plans, right? Because when Visible, when I first did my videos about Visible, that's one of the major questions that I got was, is there a family plan, Because $40 a month for a single line, that's not bad at all for what you're getting with Visible. And that's $40 flat. No taxes and fees included on that. So, Mint Mobile, I don't believe it has a family plan. I don't think so at all. You buy individual lines, and you save in bulk. So I've never really seen them advertise that they have a family plan. I don't know if they're ever going to try to create some sort of family bulk plan. That would be crazy, right? Mint Mobile unleashes a family bulk up with your family. You can be on the 3 gig plan. If you have up to 4 lines, you could pay like $350 every 3 months, because it'd be like, what, 75? No, that'll be like $300 for 4 lines. So then just say pay $225 every 3 months for Mint Mobile family bulk for 3 months, right? No, that'll be 300 months, and then that'll be like 900 for 3 months. Doing the math here right now. So say 450, but you got 4 lines. Anyways, yeah, it'd just be totally weird. I don't think it'd be very appetizing to do it that way, but Mint Mobile doesn't have family, so Mint Mobile works great for those that are just like single individual people that don't have like a very big family. So if you have like 4 or 5 members in your family that all need phones, Mint Mobile's not going to be the way to go. You're not going to want to go with Mint Mobile, just for a simple fact is they don't have a family plan. So you're not going to have savings, with numbers. Google Fi does have family plans, especially whether you go with the flexible plan or you go with the unlimited. The flexible plan, it's $20 for the first line for unlimited talk and text, $15 for the second line, going on forward. The unlimited, basically, it's $70 for one line, $60 for 2 lines, so that's $120 together, and so on. But with Google Fi, like I said, you can create your own quirky, unlimited, family plan, basically for however many people actually need a phone line versus however many people in your family that just use LTE data only. You can just get a data only SIM card and have them piggyback off your data usage. So like I said, my sons have the data only SIM. One of them is connected to his mom's line, so he uses the data he uses counts against her line, and then the other one uses off mine. Since Google Fi does have a throttle cap at 22 gigs, after that you're slowed down, which means that technically I would use 10, my oldest son would use 10, and that's kind of like that. And we have the 2 gig leeway, or I use 11, he uses 11, either way. But you can relatively have a smaller family plan with Google Fi if you kind of work it to your benefit. Visible Visible really doesn't have a family plan. They have what they call Visible Party Pay, which is very identical to Sprint's family plan. So you save in being a group of 4, but the group of 4 does not have to be joint accounts, So I have Visible. My fiance, she has Visible also. And then I have 2 other people that I don't even know. I just basically shared my Visible party link, and they used it when they signed up for Visible, and then all of us got discounts. So generally speaking, I should only be paying $25 on my line. My fiance pays $25 for hers, but then because when I first got Visible, I basically hoed out my my referral link. So I have $220 in credit still left with Visible. So with the party paid discount and then the referral discount, technically my bill is at $0. I haven't paid a visible phone bill in 3 months already. Going on 3 months. February 9th would be 3 months. I haven't paid anything. That's crazy. Like, you love visible? Yeah. And again, when I tell people like Visible's good, but it just depends if you have Verizon coverage. If Verizon is golden in your area, if they're really good, then Visible's going to work really good. Caveat to Visible is that it only uses LTE, so like there, if LTE is weak, it doesn't drop to a 3G or anything like that. It just doesn't have that dependency. But however, Verizon's LTE connectivity in especially most major cities, has been really good. So I use a VPN. I use Pure VPN. Sweet. That's like a lot of people are using VPN, especially nowadays, and I would recommend people using a VPN too. Data privacy and things like that, right? Like having your connection encrypted, so no one can see what you're doing, what you're where you're browsing to. I mean, that's just if you're one that's like really on privacy, then that's one that I would say that you definitely need to be considering. Mint has been very good for me and have gotten some great deals. Yeah, Mint Mobile has, as I said, buying in bulk can really save you some savings throughout the year. Especially you don't have to worry about having to manage a phone bill every month. It could be every 3 months you worry about that bill, every 6 months, or every year, depending on which bulk you buy in. So and eventually it's going to get better, right? Especially when 5G comes out. I would predict that Mint Mobile would actually up the amount of data that they would provide people of LTE. Right now it's like at what, 3, 8, and 12. I could easily see it within the next 2 years, it going to like 5, 10, and 15, or going maybe like 10, 20, and 30, right? It could easily go to that point. So we'll see. I mean, Deadpool's part ownership of it. Everyone tweet, Van City Reynolds, which is Ryan Reynolds. Oh no, Van City Reynolds is his account on Instagram, I think. I don't know if that is for Twitter, but anyways, yeah, everyone could just like tweet out at Deadpool, give us more data, and that actually would be cool. That would be killer right there if Mint Mobile offered a 10 gig, a 15 gig, and a 20 gig, or if they did 10 gig, 20 gig, 30 gig. That would actually be pretty sweet. And then buying it in bulk and not having to worry about it for an entire year, that's actually pretty cool. i3 Mobile now has a 100 gig plan. Yeah, I was seeing some stuff too. Like there's one called Boom Mobile. I've never heard of Boom Mobile. I was just like reading some news about prepaid, because I know, again, I will say it again, and I posted a quick little video about it. But tomorrow, if you were ever interested in trying Mint Mobile's service, tomorrow during the Super Bowl is the time to try it out. You can sign up. You get 3 months of the 3 GB plan for free. They'll ship you out your SIM card. You cannot be an existing Mint Mobile customer. You got to be a new customer coming in. It does not require a port in or anything like that. So if you've been interested in wanting to try Mint Mobile during the Super Bowl, go to mintmobile.com and sign up. Choose the 3 GB plan, and you will get your first 3 months free. Okay. Now, after 3 months of you testing it out, if you like it and you want to stick with it, you could definitely change your plan from the 3 to the 8 gig or to the 12 gig, and you can change it from 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. How much is i3? Oh, let's look. Let me leave the chat real quick here. Let's look up at i3 Mobile. There's a lot of MVNOs nowadays, especially in the simple fact, like Boost Mobile maybe going to Dish. Okay, i3mobile.us. No contract wireless carrier. Let's see. Order SIM card. We operate on America's largest GSM network, so I'm assuming AT&T. Okay, smartphone plans. 1 GB for $21 a month. 10 gigs for $41. 100 gigs plus unlimited call and text for $61 a month. Then they have 100 gigs plus unlimited calls, text, and hotspot for $71 a month. Then they have the 100 GB hotspot plan for $77 a month. You can order a SIM card for that. So that's probably gonna be data only SIM card. But yeah, okay. Gorgeous 8 hotspots. Yes, AT&T. Yeah, I figured. That's what I'm saying. That AT&T's actually been pretty good. I have a line, a business line. I think it's a business line that Carlos gave me. He gave it to me with the iPhone 10s to use, so I've been using it. It's actually been pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's 5GE, basically advanced LTE, but it's been pretty good. Now, AT&T's business practices is pretty shady. I don't know if you guys watched Carlos's live stream last night, but they talked about it on there, how AT&T laid off a lot of workers just so that way they can get fat bonuses. Yeah, this is actually not bad. Maybe one day I might just order a SIM card for them just to test them out. If I do, I'll probably go with like the 10 gig plan for $41 a month. But yeah, that's i3 Mobile. But yeah, Mint, Google Fi, and Invisible all have their quirks to them. So you got Wing Mobile, which I heard is resold AT&T business plan. I did not know that. How well is it working out? I think I've seen ads for Wing Mobile. Aren't they the ones that talk about like they will break up with your carrier for you? TSB, hello, what's going on? Good morning. It's like 9:54 a.m. I want to try to do these every Saturday morning. Hopefully. Right? It's just like regular AT&T. See, those are the type of like prepaid MVNOs that I like. Is like when you subscribe to their services, it's just like having the postpaid services. Like Boost Mobile, for a time it was good, but I do know, and this is just even me just from working from Sprint, but I do know that Boost Mobile devices don't have access to every tower that Sprint has. That Sprint, allocates for their postpaid customers. So, yeah. Yeah, it's 9:55 a.m. I'm just waiting for the missus to get up because we gotta go buy some groceries today. Tomorrow is the Super Bowl. Who's going for who? Right? I already asked this question. Sneed said he's going for Chiefs. So who's going, Chiefs or 49ers? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too worried about YouTube. Like me and my brother, we have this standing thing where like we rename the NFL teams with like some weird names, right? So Kansas City, okay. Cause like my brother gets mad because he goes for Seahawks, right? So like every time he's like, you know, if his team loses, he comes home and asks him like, "Hey, so how'd your Seahawks make out?" And he get all pissed off and everything like that. So I asked him today, like, who's he going for? And he's like, my Seahawks are not in there, so I'm not going with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm not going with the 49ers. And I'm like, oh my god, dude. But yeah, so our dog is going with Chiefs. Sneed's going with Chiefs. I actually opted 49ers. I don't know. We'll see. My team didn't make it, and like I really thought my team was gonna make it to the Super Bowl this year. My team is the New Orleans Saints, and they were looking really good this year, but they got knocked out in the playoffs. So I thought they did pretty good though. They were like what? Before they were out, I think they were what, like 10 and no, they were not 10. They were 13 or something. I forgot what their standing was. So, surprising to me that the 49ers went in, but then the 49ers have been playing pretty good this year too as well. But yeah, my 49ers. Your brother's a huge 49ers fan. Can't take it no more. C Diesel says also got US Mobile 50 gig plan that uses Verizon and has HD streaming. Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of people going for Chiefs. I can see why. It's been like how long since they were in the Super Bowl? I forgot. I remember I was watching it on the ESPN where they give that little backstory to the team that's going into the Super Bowl. They tell you like the last time they went to the Super Bowl, and like if they ever won a Super Bowl and whatnot. So I guess what in this one, a lot would say that the Chiefs are the underdogs. I don't know. You've been a long time fan of the Chiefs. Nice. I know my cousin my cousin Dana. She should be going for the Chiefs. If I remember correctly on Facebook, every season she posts about the Chiefs. So I know that she should be super stoked. Um, there's a guy that lives out here in Mesa. He's a pretty good artist. He goes by the name Kid Woe. I'm pretty sure he's pretty stoked for the Chiefs. If you guys haven't checked out his stuff, find him on Instagram. He does a lot of good work. And yeah, if you commission him to like, design a hat, design a phone case, design a shirt, he'll do that for you. You just gotta, get in touch with him. I'll type his name in the chat just so you guys know how his name goes on Instagram. Yeah, it's Kid Woe. Pretty cool dude. For you remember since 1969? Dude, that's a long time. Yeah. I mean, just to pick a team, I went ahead and picked the 49ers. To me, I'm not a 49ers fan, so it's not like I'm going to go hard on the 49ers and be like, yeah, if they win, they win. If they don't win, they don't win. I just know that my team did not get into the Super Bowl. That's pretty much it, Actually, I mean, like, I go for Saints, but my fiance's grandfather passed away, and he was a Cardinals fan, so I try to support the Cardinals, but man, it's really hard to support the Cardinals. I don't know what it is, but it's just like they only had that one year that they actually were doing like really good, and then after that they just play like crap again. But yeah, I don't know. I may go live during the Super Bowl and talk about getting the Mint Mobile like the free promo deal thing. Let everyone know how that worked out. But yeah, no one's coming over to my place. I get loud. I'm one of those people who like sits on the couch, watches the game, and when there's like bad calls, when the refs are like stupid, dumb, blind, and they flag the play for like an idiotic call or whatever, like, I tend to yell at the screen. My fiance gets like, she laughs at me because she's like, they can't hear you. That guy cannot hear you. And I'm just like, I don't care. In my head, when I'm yelling at the TV, in my head, they can hear me, So I kind of do that. But yeah, tomorrow will be pretty interesting though. And then also, for those people who are filing for, their tax return, a little advice for you guys, if you guys ever want to have some laughs, but check out H&R Block's like customer service. I think it's their Facebook page. You will not believe what people say. I mean, yes, I get it. Tax return time, especially if you're expecting a good sizable return. You want your money. You have plans. You maybe want to go take like a vacation this spring, or you want to get you that new smartphone that you've been longing for an entire year or whatever, right? People literally rip H&R Block a new a-hole all the time, and like it's just crazy. Some people will be like, I filed my tax return last week and I haven't gotten it yet. Where's my money? Blah blah blah. H&R Block stealing my money. They're stealing this. They're doing that. And it's like, man, do people actually go to the IRS website and actually look at these things? Like, I know if you file a tax return and you're getting EIC, there is a set time that they will actually release the funds. So I think people that file with EIC shouldn't expect their refunds to start coming out till I think like after February 12th. So good 11 days from today or whatever. I just filed last night, and looking to get a good amount back. So I went and my oldest daughter, she's going to the Science Museum this Tuesday to spend the night there. So I have to drop her off at school like at 5 p.m. And so I went and got her sleeping bag. I got her a new pillow and some fuzzy slippers. They're gonna be there throughout the night. They from the field trip form says that they'll be going to sleep like around 10. and that to have a change of clothes because they'll be heading straight back to school the next morning. And since on Wednesdays, their school gets out at 1 p.m. instead of 3. Coffee, what's up? They get out at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays, so they literally it's like a half day for them. But she was like super excited, so I went ahead and got, her sleeping bag. I got her pillow, and then my youngest daughter, Nevaeh, she wanted a sleeping bag too. And like if I do for one, I do for both. So I bought her her own sleeping bag, even though she's not going on a field trip for an overnight stay at the Science Museum. She got a sleeping bag. I think it's really cool because when I was growing up, I mean, the closest things that we ever had to like, dealing with science or anything like that is like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they used to bring, this had to do with astronomy, but they used to bring that dome, this big white dome, and you would crawl in through the tube, and then you would find a spot at the edge of the dome and just lay on your back. And inside the dome, they had it pretty much like mapped of the stars and the constellations. And so like the person inside the dome would like, with the laser pointer would point out like where the Big Dipper was, would point out, where Aquarius is, where Sagittarius is, where Venus would be, where Mars would be at this time of the year. And, it was pretty cool. It was like, that was like the closest thing that, I ever got. I never got to like spend the night at a science museum. Like, so I told my daughter, like, relish in the moment that you get to do this, since I was a kid, I think my favorite subject in school was science. All aspects of science, biology and, astronomy, all those things, I was pretty much interested in. I remember, like, I was telling my fiance this story last night when we were shopping for the kids. So, yeah, I told her that when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, the librarian laughed at me one time because, I always go to check out books. I was a very big, I still read books. I mean, I use my tablet to read ebooks, but so I was very heavy in 2nd grade. I was very heavy into dinosaurs. Like, I was just so fascinated by them. So I would like check out, lots of books that had to do with dinosaurs, like books that profiled a specific dinosaur to books that just talked about like different periods and the different dinosaurs they had, like, the Jurassic period, the Cretaceous period, the Mesozoic period, like all these different times, and what dinosaurs were around, species that were around, dominant, like carnivores and herbivores and omnivores. And I was very heavy into that. And so the librarian laughed at me because just about every dinosaur book they carried in my school library had my name filled up one side of the card because I had checked them out repeatedly over and over again. In 3rd grade, I got really heavy into astronomy and into planets and things like that. So I was like checking out books that had to do with stars, learning, what novas were, what supernovas were, black holes, reading up why Uranus and Pluto, why they would cross their orbit around the sun. Even as far as like reading up books about, Planet X, binary star systems and, where our twin star is supposed to be at. Oh, the Chiefs haven't been to the Super Bowl since 1970. Ah, got it. Wow. That is quite some time. That's like 50 years. Well, good luck to the Chiefs, man. They better win it tomorrow because that would be a Cinderella story if they win. It's been 50 years since they've been in the Super Bowl. They better spank the 49ers. Even though I'm going 49ers to pick a team to go with, now they better spank the 49ers, man. That'd be a great Cinderella story. But yeah, so, my daughters are like, they're kind of getting into the same things that I've gotten into. My youngest son, Rain, he's 4. He'll be 5 this July. I got a subscription to Disney Plus, and so with that subscription, I have him watch a documentary. So he wanted me to buy him a space rocket ship, and like what sucks is like Walmart doesn't sell like just like average toys anymore. Like everything has to be commercialized name brands. So, like has to do with Marvel or Star Wars or like they don't just sell like little space space shuttles that have NASA on the side of it. They don't sell things like that. Like everything has to do with like Paw Patrol or something like that. And my son wants he wants a space shuttle because he watched the documentary about the Apollo launch, and he was like, really focused into it, trying to understand, what was going on, and I was asking me questions, and I was explaining to him while we were watching a documentary together, explaining to him, they did several launches, um, because this was the first time they were gonna send, a human to the moon. They wanted to be able to send a human to the moon and have him safely come back, and so they did a lot of different test launches where, like, I think it was like what they had like 16 astronauts, but of the team of 16, like three of them were gonna do the test launch where they would launch into space and then they would orbit the planet Earth, and then re-enter the atmosphere just to test if of exiting our atmosphere and then re-entering our atmosphere. They had one where the launched from Earth, orbited Earth once, and then shot towards the moon, orbited the moon, and then came back doing like a figure eight. They didn't land on the moon, but they went around it. And they finally did the actual launch that they were trying to do, the race to get the man to the moon. And they launched and successfully brought men to the moon. They landed on the moon. They spacewalked on the moon, and then they successfully launched off the moon and made their way back to Earth and came home safely. So yeah, he's really interested in that right now. I can see what he's interested in, and that's actually good because I'd rather have my kids read books and be interested in things like that than to be on their phone playing Fortnite and crap like that, Minecraft or anything like that. Like, you want to play Minecraft, buy a block of Legos, build something. But yeah, because like right now, the way that it stands, my oldest daughter, she wants to open her own bakery. My youngest daughter wants to be a police officer. And currently, right now, my youngest son wants to be an astronaut. He has like a lot of ideas. He wants to be an astronaut who is the best gamer, like live stream gamer. So I don't know. I guess he plans to fly to the moon and then do a Twitch live stream from the moon playing a game. I don't know. He's got some weird thoughts, but all great kids. My second oldest son, we just dropped off his application for Coding Academy. I have to get his grades in. Luckily, his teachers are cool about it. He was actually failing science, but it wasn't that, because he didn't know the work. It's because he's also part of the robotics club for his 8th grade class. And they just had a tournament here recently, so he's missed several assignments that all he had to do was turn it in, and his grade at 54% shot up to 86%. So he needed to get that up because I got to bring that report card to that school. These days, high schools are so different than what they used to be when I was growing up. Like, when I was growing up, you went to high school, Now they have high schools that you have to apply for, you have to interview for. But obviously, these schools specialize in certain things. So, like, he'll get his high school credits going to the school, but he'll also have vocational classes based on coding, right? And that's what he wants to do, If he can get a job being, as a IT support, for a company, he could do that. He wants to design his own video game. I told him that, if you come up with a good concept for a video game, you design it well, you do it right, beta test it, have like good testers to beta test it for you. You launch a game title that becomes popular, you can make a killing because not only were you the creator and the designer of the game itself, but everything that comes along with it. So like novelties like t-shirts, cups, things like that, royalties will have to be paid for you because your characters you created were used in the likeness of creating a design for a cup, shirt, hat, pin, pen, whatever, phone case, whatever it is. I told him, like, if you create the biggest, hottest game for like, at least, 5 years running with multiple titles after that to continue the story, like you can make bank. So like his number one goal is to design, and build, one of the greatest games ever. So that's where he got his heart set on. And I don't care. Like, some people will tell him that's impossible, you're never going to do it. Screw people who say that. And I'll tell anybody, if you have a dream, don't listen to anybody that's in your ear being negative. Surround yourself with positive people that will tell you can do it, because you can. I told my son, he can do it. At one point, he was like, I don't know if my ideas would be good and people will like it. I told him, you don't know, but this world is filled with billions of people, 5 or 6 people who say that your idea for a game sucks does not account for the rest of the population of this world. And if you launch that game and it actually happens to be like a very popular title, who's going to come out looking stupid? Not you, but the 5 or 6 people that were in your ear that are saying that's a stupid idea. Because ideas aren't stupid. The only stupid ideas are the ones that are never thought of. The ones that people don't take the time to think of. You know, the closed-minded minds. Those are the dumb ones. Anyone who dares to dream, regardless if the dream seems, you know, so far, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I always tell my son, you know, like, you know, having goals, having dreams, you know, is like stars, right? You know, you're told so much that you can never touch a star, but that should never stop you from you know, trying. Always reach for the stars. And so my son wants to design video games, so he's gonna go to a school. His teachers are laughing, not at him like, you know, like as if they're making fun of him, but they're laughing because they asked him in a parent-teacher conference the other night. They asked him, does he have a backup school that he's considering going to if he doesn't get accepted in the coding academy? And I told his teachers, I was like, actually, no, he's not looking for a backup school because he has his heart going to coding academy. When you're that dedicated to something, you're going to get in. And I have 100% faith that he's going to get into the coding academy, which, you know, is a really good school. And I told him, you know, he's going to have his hands full because, like, you know, he's smart. He's really smart. I told him the kids that go there are like extremely smart. I tripped out. These 2 freshmen walked in when I was dropping off his applications, and they're talking about quantum mechanics and things like that. I'm looking at them like, geez, you know, make me feel inferior. Well, I'm like, you know, this is great for my son to go to. You know, when you surround yourself with geniuses, you know, it rubs off on you, right? Challenges you to try to be on that same mental level as them. And all it takes is just studying. Like, people always like question, like, how does someone get so super smart? I can't ever do it. Like, the reason why you can never do it is because you keep telling yourself you can't do it. But if you know, study, if you learn, you can be on that level. You want to study up, you know, quantum physics, you can study it, and then go back and talk to somebody about quantum physics, and then you'll be surprised how you sound. Oscar, good morning. What's up, man? Yeah, craziest thing ever, you know, like there's the only limitations there are to the human life are the ones set by the human themselves, right? If you put limitations in your life, then those are the limitations you're always going to live by. You will never go beyond that. You know, you got to live your life without bounds and without limitations. Once you live your life that way, anything's possible, you know? That's why when you hear like all these wonder stories, like, you know, this old guy did this, people are like, how did he do it? Because he believed he can. You know, if he limited himself and he said, oh, I'm old and frail and can't do it, then he will never do it. You're only blocked by the limitations you set for yourself. I tell this to people all the time. The limitations you set for yourself is what's holding you back. If you don't set limitations on yourself, you can exceed far beyond what you expected you could. You know, anybody can be a genius, right? A lot of people hold very smart, talented people. They hold them to a higher level. They sit there and they look at them and they say like, oh yeah, they're super smart. They get this stuff. I could never be as smart as them. Yeah, that alone right there is the reason why you're not as smart as them, because you just set a limitation to yourself. You just said you can never be as smart as them, so you will never be as smart as them. But if you're like, those guys are talented and they're super smart, they're like geniuses, in 5 years' time, I'll be, if not smarter than them, as smart as them. You'll get to that. Study hard. I mean, you're never too old to learn, and a classroom is not needed for you to learn. I read a lot, you know, like my older sister gets surprised when we have our, you know, weekly conversations. We talk for like 2-3 hours, and then we talk about certain subjects, and I just start going off on everything that I know, and she's just like, how do you know all this stuff? Because I read. Reading is a quintessential part of life. You read, you will know more about things. You don't have to be in a classroom to learn about things, you know. You look it up and just read articles about it. Google's your friend, you know. Safari's your friend. Just read and read and read. Read and learn. Read and absorb. Don't just read one narrow-minded point of view. If it's like a certain subject and there's like 5 or 6 different people who spoke on it with different point of views, read all their point of views. Determine your own point of view based upon everything that you see. You'll find that they have similar things that they're saying, and then certain things that are just different from each other. But the main point is that when you read, you learn more. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. It's like 10:17 a.m., man. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this broadcast off short. I've been on here for already like an hour and 15 minutes. I want to thank everybody that came in here and joined the broadcast. C Diesel, thanks for coming in. Art Dog, TSB, Coffeed from way out there in the UK. I appreciate you coming on. Sneed, Stacy, my brother Rafael, thanks for coming in and hanging out. You know, pretty short broadcast talking about Mint Mobile and whatnot. And yeah, so all right, man. And yeah, probably live stream tomorrow. Let you guys know how signing up with Mint Mobile went. Again, if you want to try out Mint Mobile, gotta do it. Gotta sign up for their services, 3-month plan during the Super Bowl, and it's a free 3 months of 3 gigabytes per month. So just keep that in mind. And then if you want to go with a bigger plan, up until I think February 29th, Mint Mobile has it where you pay $20. $20 pays for 3 months of the 8 gigabyte plan, so 8 gigs every 3 months. Well, every month in the 3 months. You could go that route if you need more data than 3 gigs. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat breakfast now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Aloha.